welcome to another episode of Piecing It Together, the podcast where we take a look at a new movie and try to figure out what movies inspired it. And today on the show, we're talking about Sinners, and we are live from Downtown Cinemas. Had a great show over there. Great guest panel, including Michael Keene, Miss Michelle, and Tyler Najera. We got into a lot of great stuff on this one, some fun audience participation. It was a great time all around. Thank you to Downtown Cinemas for having us out, and thank you to everyone who showed up to the show. I know we only announced this one like less than a week before, so it's always great when we can actually get some people out at such last-minute notice. So we'll be announcing more live shows coming up very soon, but for now, we're going to get into Sinners here in a second. Before we get to it, though, I do want to remind you, as always, to make sure you are subscribed to Piecing It Together wherever you listen to podcasts. We got a lot of episodes on the way, so you'll find out about them as soon as they hit your feed if you get subscribed. And while you're at it, maybe drop us a 5-star rating and review. It helps make sure that more people check out the show. So with that said, let's talk about Sinners. All right, so I'm David Rosen, the host of the Piecing It Together podcast. We're going to talk about Sinners right now, but before we get into it, I do want to introduce my guests here. First up, returning to the show, Michael Keene. Introduce yourself, Michael.
Hi, I'm Michael Keene. I'm a filmmaker. I make shitty movies that people sometimes watch, such as The Head and Fatal Future.
I've watched one of those two movies.
Wow. It's kind of fucked up.
I know. I do want to watch the other one, but you've never like given me a copy or something? I'd love to watch it.
It's on YouTube.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll get the plug.
Fatal Future.
Yeah, wonderful.
It's the easiest movie to find for free.
Yeah, just type in Fatal Future. Yeah. Tyler Najera, first time on the show. How's it going, Tyler?
It's going fine. This is my first time being on this podcast. I'm a fellow filmmaker here in Las Vegas, and I'm a current film student at UNLV. And a movie that I made actually premiered in this theater a few years ago. It's called Portrait of Michael Vogler. Premiered at the Sin City Horror Fest here a few years ago, and in this theater, and it won the Rising Star Award there. And I like to think of myself as like a genre filmmaker. Like I love movies like this, like Sinners and stuff like that.
Sure, absolutely. Well, happy to have you here on the show, Miss Michelle. First time in a few years. I'm happy to have you back.
Yes, I'm happy to be back, David. Thank you for the invite.
Tell everybody about what you do.
Well, I am also a filmmaker, and I am the founder of the Las Vegas Black Film Festival. We're about to celebrate our 12th year, actually, next week. The 24th through the 27th, and I have made 21 movies that
awesome.
Are streaming all over the place, from over Tubi, Amazon Prime. We're all over the place. So, and you can find my movies. Just Google my name, Ms. Michelle. That's MS Michelle. And I'm excited to be here. Let's talk about Sinners. Thank you, David.
Absolutely. Well, yeah, I'm excited to get into this one. There should be a lot of really fun things to talk about here. This movie, it's a lot. It's like just so full of so much different stuff. I feel like we can go in so many different directions with what we do here is we talk about a movie through the lens of what might have inspired it. We call those movies puzzle pieces, and so that's how this show, Piecing It Together, works. So we're going to go through a few rounds of puzzle pieces here, and I feel like one that is a very obvious one. A lot of people talked about it in the lead up just from the trailer, and I feel like it's still worth bringing up here to kick this show off because I always like to start with an obvious one, is From Dusk Till Dawn, as far as just holding down in a music venue and down south, and vampires are coming in, and it plays with the conventions of what we know and love about vampire stories, gets in a lot of the classic stuff, but then throws in a little bit of its own myth-making in there as well, which I really liked what they did here with the mind melding of the vampires and all that kind of stuff, and using genre filmmaking to have a good time, honestly. Like, this movie is so much a good time, as there's so much going on in the screen. And so I don't know. I feel like that's a really easy one to kick it off with. Were you guys all thinking about that as well?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I was thinking about, just going, let's get the obvious, out of the way.
Exactly. And I feel like there's a few other obvious ones, but then there'll be some more out there ones that we'll get into as well. But let's go on to something else, though. Michael Keene, what do you got first?
Well, this is the deepest I can pull.
Okay.
2006, I believe, is the year, and it is Idlewild.
Oh,
that was going to be on my list too.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, so good.
Yeah. That was my first. Well, my first was From Dusk Till Dawn.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, that was a given. But Idlewild, great. Well, very good film. We saw a great film. Idlewild is a good film that I highly recommend that people check out. It may or may not be to people's taste, but it's similarly, it's a black-led film. I think it's an entirely black cast, actually, Idlewild.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Pretty sure.
Yeah, I think
But it's known as being the Outcast musical.
Yeah.
And this movie isn't as much of a musical as I would have preferred it to have been. Whereas Idlewild is pretty much a full-on
Straight up, beginning
musical.
to end.
Also set in the 30s, Prohibition era, and I think it's Georgia. Idlewild is in Georgia.
I believe so. I haven't seen it since it first came out, but yeah, I think so.
long time.
Yeah, Idlewild is it coincided with the Outkast album released, and Andre 3000 and Big Boy were the stars of it, and it's just a straight up Outkast musical and set in a very similar setting here, and obviously not a vampire movie, but another kind of genre kind of thing, being a gangster movie and everything like that.
Gangster musical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So blending those kinds of genres together into something that just explodes off the screen, basically, because of the music. The music helps. And like you said, that's my one major criticism of this movie that we just watched is I wish it was more of a musical. I wish we got more musical numbers. The post-credit scene should have just been baked into the movie, basically.
Yeah, I would have preferred a few numbers to just go all the way through.
Yeah.
There were a few moments where I was like, man, stop interrupting this sick-ass music. Let me just enjoy myself, Ryan Coogler. Come on.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Tyler, let's go on to one from you.
So I was thinking of a lot of things. Like I was like I tried to do a little bit of research before I saw the movie, but like what I was like thinking about, other than like From Dusk Till Dawn, was also like The Shining. How it's like they're like how they're like music it's like this like supernatural thing, and like and stuff like that, and how like music is black culture, and like and how it like brings them together. Like I was like it was like the way it's like described in the movie, it was like it reminded me a lot of The Shining, how they what I mean, how like you have The Shining and stuff like that, and
You either have it or you don't have it.
yeah,
basically.
and like and then like and then like to like kind of on the Dusk Till Dawn thing, like gangsters and vampires. I'm probably the first person to ever like make this comparison to a movie like Sinners, but I've been watching a lot of like Jean Rollin films. I don't know if anyone here. Yeah, I've been watching a lot of those like movies, and I saw Fascination for the first time like a few weeks ago on 4K, and like I was like thinking when I was like thinking about it, I was like, I'm gonna try and compare this movie to like one of those like Jean Rollin films. And I don't even know if like Ryan Coogler probably, I don't know, because like he's
He
really
seems like a fucking nerd.
yeah.
He does seem like a big nerd, honestly.
I don't know if
Elvis is a
they
nerd.
they teach him at USC though. I'd imagine because I hear stories that like they'll get like pissy to you if you like talk about Godard there.
Yeah.
But I don't know. He probably does know about Jean Rollin. But I was like, yeah, like thinking about it, because that's also a that's like also like it starts off as like a gangster film, about this guy that like has some like gold, and he's like getting like double crossed by like the guys that he like is working with on this job, and then he runs away to this like abandoned castle, and then there's vampires there.
Oh, cool.
And I like saw like a headline that like Ryan Coogler was like inspired by the Metallica song One.
Yeah, right.
I was trying to think, 'cause like there is that like they're World War One, they're World War One veterans, but like I'm not entirely sure, but like if we're gonna talk about one, then we gotta talk about Johnny Got His Gun, because that's the direct inspiration for One, and like Johnny Got His Gun is like that's one of my favorite movies ever. I love that movie.
That's absolutely a great point right there. Back to that Fascination. I haven't seen that. We got to fuck yeah from Michael here, but but I don't know. I'm not familiar with that film. Michelle, have you heard of that one at all?
No,
No.
not
Yeah,
that
I hadn't either. So we're gonna have to check that out. Sounds interesting. The blending of genres there.
I can assure you, Fascination, very good pull.
Yeah. Right
Yeah.
on. Right on. Well, Michelle, let's go to one from you.
So this one gave me, of course, Dusk to Dawn vibe, but for whatever reason, I felt the little Bad Boys in there, the Martin Lawrence and Will Smith kind of a thing, except they had the twins going on. But I don't know if you guys have seen a movie called Down in the Delta.
No.
I think I
It gave
have,
me
actually.
total Down in the Delta vibes. It was an old movie, Samuel Jackson, Megan Good. She was a young girl who had to play like a grown-up role. But it was a lot of
I think you mean Eve's Bayou.
Eve's Bayou. That's what it was.
Eve's Bayou, I have
Eve's
seen.
Bayou,
Yeah.
that's what it was.
Yeah.
Alfred Woodard and all of them. That's what it gave me. It gave me that type of vibe because of the down south. With the hoodoo and the voodoo.
Right, right, yeah.
That they were given in here, but it was a great movie. It was all over the place for me.
It was very all over the place.
Because
Yeah.
I didn't know where they were, especially when the man came flying out of the air, and then the Indians came, and,
Yeah.
and then they were vampires. It was all over the place at first, but I like how they wrapped it up and brought it all together. But it did give me Bad Boys, Dusk Till Dawn, and what was it? Eve's Bayou.
Eve's Bayou. Yeah, I was actually thinking of Eve's Bayou as well. I just saw that last year, I think it was, but it's a really good movie, and definitely with the stuff with the, I don't know if it was an ex-wife or what the story was, but the his dead son's mother, that whole thing, and there was definitely a lot of that mysticism going on in there and stuff like that.
Good. Very good.
Yeah, good movie there. I'm going to go with Elvis for my next one, the Baz Luhrmann Elvis movie. This might seem like a weird one, but I kept thinking about it through this movie because both movies deal with just the good and the bad of music, of the music industry, and what comes along with getting into the world of music. And Tyler was just talking about it with that other piece with The Shining. It brings such joy and happiness and brings communities together and everything, but then it brings, in real life, it brings maybe certain people taking advantage of other people. There's just various different ways it can bring you down. In Elvis, we see shitty managers that, take advantage of Elvis in that movie, but here it attracts vampires, I guess. It's like a very genre version of that kind of story. Yeah. But also, speaking to the musical, numbers, I was reminded of Baz Luhrmann in general, though, when the camera's all spinning around and we got that whole sequence where we're seeing the old music mixed with the current and mixed into new future and the DJ and the electric guitar and all that, which is obviously not there. And so we get a lot of that stuff in Elvis. I remember there were scenes where it's obviously set in the time when Elvis was alive, but then all of a sudden there's Britney Spears music, I think it was playing, and then there was DJs and all this stuff, and they really just play around with the timeline of everything. And so I don't know, it seems like a weird pull, but it's something I kept thinking about, especially with the way that both movies treat music, I guess you would say. So Elvis, my next piece. Let's go to you, Michael.
That's a fucking good piece.
Hey, there you go. Thank you, Michael.
I'm going to go with a movie that I haven't actually seen. Shame on me. But 2015's Legend. Starring Tom Hardy.
Yeah.
Only because it's about twin brothers who are gangsters, and it involves one actor playing both roles. In that case, Tom Hardy. In this case, I just lost his name.
Michael B. Jordan.
Michael B. Jordan.
Yeah.
And I was floored by the amount of effects work that went into this fucking movie.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
For very simple stuff, but they really have to pack it in to make it work.
That first, well, I don't know if it's the first shot, but the first big wide shot of the brothers where they're sharing a cigarette.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, well, there has to be a CGI smoke sim that they're using for the cigarette, but it looks perfectly real. And at the same time, you have both characters in the shot. Later on, there's several moving shots of them together where they cross frame and touch each other, and it's.
You know what shot I was actually really taken back by? When they're in the doorway and the vampire's trying to get them to let him in. Yeah. And because it's a crowd of people, and yet they just look, there's the separation, they just totally look natural.
It's banana. I really, really, really hope that there's quality behind the scenes material for this eventual Blu-ray release, because I have got to know how they did some of these shots.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, to the puzzle piece of Legend, little behind the scenes, we were supposed to do a live show on the Alto Nights, the Robert De Niro as twin gangsters, and I was going to use Legend as a puzzle piece on that one. Yeah. So twin gangsters, absolutely. Good one to include here for sure. So let's go to another one from you, Tyler.
Oh, I was also thinking of another vampire movie. I was thinking of Near Dark. What's her name? What's her name's slipping me right now.
Catherine Bigelow.
Yeah,
there
Catherine
you go.
Bigelow. I was thinking
Yeah.
of the Catherine Bigelow in Near Dark. 'Cause, like the way that like when that one Irish guy, I'm gonna call him the Irish vampire, the head vampire guy.
Yeah, sure.
When he's out in the water with him, and he's all like fucked up looking, like the way that like how grotesque he like looks. It like was reminding me of like those kinds of like vampires and like in like Near Dark, how they're like how they look like. They, you know what I mean? Like when they're
fucked up.
Yeah, they look all like fucked up like that. And then like and like there's even like a Confederate. There's like one of them is like a former like Confederate like soldier, and there's like stuff like that. And then like I was like thinking about Near Dark.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I've actually never seen Near Dark. I've always
You
wanted
need to see it. It's
Yeah,
awesome.
Absolutely.
Tangerine Dream. They did the score for it. It's like really really awesome.
immediate-
Tour de force, Bill Paxton.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Bill
Bill
Paxton. I mean, I want to
Paxton's
see
awesome in
everything
it.
he does. So yeah, absolutely.
And it's like it's a really great. I don't really like using this word a lot, underrated, but it is a really underrated movie. It's really underappreciated. Like it should get a lot more love. It's
I
an
feel
awesome
like
movie.
all Catherine Bigelow movies are underappreciated.
Yeah.
But, yeah. So let's go to another one over there, Michelle.
So the only other vampire movie that it kind of made me, reflect back to was the one that Eddie Murphy did with Angela Bassett. Vampire in Brooklyn. Yeah, because of the the blackness obviously that was
Sure.
represented there. But this one was done so much better. Obviously because of now we have better technology and what have you. But it gave me that Brooklyn of New York vibe. And
Sure.
but also I thought about the Devil with the Blue Dress. The
Devil
one
with
that
the Blue
Denzel-
Dress?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that one with blue dress.
Yeah.
Yeah.
because it has that old and new school type of vibe, and the whole energy and the whole contrast between a black man and a white woman in a relationship, that type of thing. It just gave me that whole vibe.
Yeah.
The Devil in the Blue Dress.
I love
Right
that
on.
The old
movie.
girl that that went out and got bit and came back. Yeah.
No, that's a really good pull there. And Vampire in Brooklyn, I haven't seen it since it came out either, but like that, I loved that movie back
Yeah,
in the
that was
day.
a good one.
Yeah.
That was a good one.
Yeah, so right on. Good one there. Let's see. I'm going to go with, I have a few things written down, but I'm going to go with Oh Brother, Where Art Thou, the Coen Brothers film. As far, George Clooney, absolutely. As far as an odyssey through the South, I mean, these brothers, once they're planning on opening up their bar, I mean, very different stories, obviously, from the get-go, but, they have to go through, they meet all these different, like, fun characters. They've got, like, everything is revolving around music essentially, but it's taking them on this journey through the South, and there's so much different things that we get into, all these like fun, exciting adventure type things happening, and the music is great. Like we've been talking about with the musical sequences, even the vampires with their bluegrass and all that stuff, and then of course all the blues in the club and all that stuff. It's all great, and reminded me a lot of just how great the soundtrack of Oh Brother is, and so I mean, it's definitely a setting, it's definitely a time and place and a vibe for that whole entire kind of world and that kind of era of music. But Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? Absolutely. Let's go to another one from you, Michael.
The only other one I can really come up with, I'm so glad no one else took this one, is Tales from the Crypt, Demon Night.
Yeah, I was thinking about it.
Yeah, one of the greatest fucking movies of all time, right up there with From Dusk Till Dawn.
Yeah.
But Demon Night, similar. It's a siege movie. There, it's demons, but the demons specifically can't get in to into the hotel.
I always mix that up in Bordello of Blood, which are both, Tales from the Crypt, but both similar kind of
Well,
setups.
difference is Demon Night is a masterpiece.
Yes, of course. Yeah.
But it has a devil character portrayed by Billy Zane.
Billy
Thank
Zane,
you.
of course. Yeah.
And that reminded me a lot of the main villain here, who's kind of meant to be sort of a devil-like character.
Yeah.
And they even have the glowy eyes.
Yes, they do.
yeah.
Yeah.
They got the glowy eyes.
Yeah.
That's right. That's how you know. That's how you know. Is you keep the straight up monsterness secret for a little while and just give you some glowy eyes for a little bit, Yeah. Demon Knight's amazing. I haven't seen that in a long time either. A
you
lot of
should- you
movies on this list that I'm like, God, I loved these back when they came out, but I need to revisit all this stuff. So, Tyler, one more from you.
There's this other vampire movie that I really love. It's Abel Ferrara's The Addiction. And
That's
like,
an interesting one.
and like in that, like there's that whole like philosophy like aspect to that movie about like what is evil and like what do like vampires, like if you're a vampire, like what does that mean like philosophically, like what are you then? And like the way the way that the vampires, just like how they talk about how like they're one and stuff like that, and like how there's like there's no hate or anything like that. You know, they're all united. Like that sort of stuff is like reminding me of like The Addiction, because that's what that movie is like using vampires to, like try and talk about, and like genocide and like human atrocities and stuff like that, and like using vampires as like a framework to like explore that like philosophically.
That's interesting. Yeah, that movie was really tough to get into. I'll be honest. I saw it like a couple of years ago, but yeah,
I wish I seen it years ago.
Yeah,
Actually. It's one
yeah.
of those movies for me.
For sure. I wonder, like, I didn't have like a cult movie on my list, but as far as the way that the vampires operate in this movie, they feel like a cult, you know, and especially with the clan involved. So like, it feels like something that a cult movie could come up in as well. But The Addiction's definitely an interesting one there, and the way that it uses vampires in a unique way like that. So yeah.
Speaking of which, was it just me, or did it not seem that bad to be a vampire?
Having a good time.
Especially with that mid-credit sequence, like, yeah, it seems like he's doing all right.
And he's really nice too. He could have just come in and killed him, but
Yeah,
you know,
he could have done all
that's-
kinds of
yeah.
shit, but he's just like, yo, play your blues, man.
Yeah,
He's
I
a
have
man
all
of
your
his
records.
word. He made
You're
a
gonna die
promise.
soon, but that's cool. You know, whatever, G. It's fine.
1992 when people still bought albums, but you know,
Oh, I didn't
streaming everything.
I forgot that it's in 1992. I thought it was because I don't know. I just the way that they were dressed, the way that Michael B. Jordan, the other girl they were dressed as, I forgot that it was the 90s.
Yeah, yeah, that would be a cool outfit at that time.
Yeah.
But, one more from Michelle over there.
So this is a reach, but it also gave me Ray vibes, the movie Ray,
Okay.
because of the way that they took, you know, what happened before versus what's happening now, and then they took a story from behind and brought the behind story to the front, you know, and just kind of brought it all together. So I thought it was really brilliantly done.
Yeah,
the
no.
movie. Yeah.
Absolutely. I was wondering if we would get like a straight up, I mean, Elvis kind of is, but it's more of like a unique, it's a Baz Luhrmann movie more than it is a music biopic. I was wondering if we'd get a straight up music biopic on this list here. And so bringing up Ray is definitely
That's
a
definitely
good one.
music biopic.
Yeah, because there's so much music here, and there's so much to the creation of that, and what goes into the mindset, and like we get all the stuff with Preacher Boy and his father and everything, and so like there's clearly a lot going on, you know, that's leading him to music and everything. So you know, it goes to that
also
kind of thing.
this movie also really it gave us a backstory about the power of music
Sure.
and how, you know, how it sways our mindsets and that type of thing. I mean, historical understanding of the power of music. So I thought that was brilliantly executed too.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, I want to open up to the floor, see if we have any puzzle pieces out here. Right away, a hand went up right here.
So that last.
Wait, we got.
Thank you. So that last scene that took place in 1992, is that it took place in 1992?
92, yeah.
Yeah.
The movie Buffy the Vampire Slayer came out in
yeah.
1992. And I saw a lot of elements of that in this movie. The wooden stake, the like groups of people having fun as vampires.
Love it.
I could see them being part of that world, the same Buffy the Vampire Slayer world, like the high school students. Like I think those characters could have like been part of that.
I love it. I love it. You know, what's fun about that too is like, so the 90s, obviously we all know what vampires are in the 90s, so many vampire things. But in the 30s, the woman was fully aware of all of the cliches of vampires.
Right.
Like she
Yeah.
just knew it all already. So
Yeah.
that's pretty cool.
Before even Dracula.
Yeah, she was on board with how to kill a vampire, but that's fine. That we could allow that. Oh God, here comes Mom.
Yeah. Okay, so first of all, because you keep talking about Elvis,
Ah,
Chuck D hated Elvis because he felt that he stole black people's music, but it was what Elvis was brought up with.
That's
There
part
was
of the movie.
Nothing else around where he lived, and that was the time of his youth. So
Yeah.
he knew all about blues. On top of that, I thought on some of the group scenes, it was kind of exciting because when they were coming at the house, on Mass. That is Massc. It reminded me a little bit of Night of the Living Dead.
Uh-huh.
Okay, Night of the Living Dead, which and then I was hoping they would even go into a little bit of thriller. But I will tell you a side story about all this vampire shit, which I absolutely love. I don't remember where and when I saw it, but my sister saw Blackula on 42nd Street in New York.
Yeah.
And in the middle of it, a little old black guy stood up and he yelled out, "Dracula sucks, but Blackula fucks."
Take the mic away from her right now.
Get your mama.
Oh boy, we got one right up there. I don't think that mic's gonna reach, but yeah.
It's interesting. I was also thinking about Night of the Living Dead, but because of that final scene, where he's, where the clan's coming.
They were
in,
all
it's just,
coming.
It's just like the cops are showing up, and then you've got one black guy who's like trying to just shoot his whip, like battle whisper. But I'll go ahead with my second one, which is a music video for Childish Gambino's Little Foot Big Foot, which is also
Okay.
feels thematically like kind of appropriate.
Right on, right on. Yeah, that's a great video too. That's an amazing video. Very cool pick right there. Right over here.
I thought it would already have been said probably, but I'd said Django and Jane.
Django Unchained.
Especially the ending scene for both movies.
Oh, yeah.
How both characters like really get to have their moment and their little like revenge and like, they get to have theirs. So I thought
Absolutely.
very similar sequences there.
Absolutely, yeah. They really get that moment, and they get to just straight up blow away some racist pieces of shit.
Yeah.
So very good, right there.
And just to build on Night of the Living Dead, the original, yes.
Not the remake.
Black guy lives.
To merge that with the Parent Trap, the dual twins.
Twins.
You
Yep.
gotta go Parent Trap. I mean, even though this cast was the most non-Parent Trap people you could be, but
Yeah.
the dual twins.
Absolutely, yeah. We whenever we talk twins, we got to get at least like 2 or 3 of those kinds of classic doubles movies in there. So doppelgangers. So any others? Anybody here got something? We got another one up there.
I think just the beginning part of the movie, Ocean's 8 or Ocean's 11 or Ocean's whatever number you want to put in there. In the terms of like they're going around, they're like, all right, we got to get this guy because this guy does this. This guy, we have to go to this person because they do this. They're putting together their team.
Maybe a little Dungeons and Dragons, Honor Among Thieves. That was like that too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the Ocean's movies definitely fits that bill very, very well. So yeah, no, that's a fun one to include here.
Can I throw 2 more in?
Throw a couple in. What do you got?
Okay, Ganja and Hess, because it's a black-led vampire film.
Okay.
Also, it's fucking sick. But also Blue Valentine, because Blue Valentine, I believe, almost got an NC-17 or did get an NC-17
Yeah.
for showing Ryan Gosling going down on what's-her-face. Mm-hmm. And I always think about that movie anytime a movie's all in on pussy eating. And in this instance, we have a film that is all in on pussy eating.
I mean, it's like every other scene they're talking about it.
It
Like,
truly is. And I thought, bravo, that's great filmmaking. Blue Valentine took an NC-17 for our sins, and here we are just going all in on Head, and that's fantastic.
I've been thinking a lot about that in terms like what vampires like are like those kinds of like that kind of like stuff about like vampires and like how like there's all these different like ideas about what vampires are, like how there can be like like with the Robert Eggers like Nosferatu, like people are now talking about like vampires as like a metaphor for like sexual assault and
Sure.
stuff like that, and like and like I remember like hearing like Roger Corman once like on like Eli Roth's History of Horror. He was like talking about how like he because he read the original Bram Stoker's Dracula. Like he was like he was like his whole take was Roger Corman's take was like he was like thinking about it like he was like it's about Bram Stoker giving his wife oral sex and then like
So it's right from the beginning.
yeah
Already.
and then, like
yeah.
and I think like Joel Schumacher too, like he like Joel Schumacher, I think he said this about the Lost Boys. I could be wrong, but like because Joel Schumacher's a gay man and like he made the Lost Boys and that's a vampire movie and like that's kind of like a homoerotic kind of movie, and so like like there's those ideas like what vampires are, like how they can like these ideas of like unrepressed like sexuality. I don't know if I said the word right. Unrepressed like sexuality and like pansexuality, and then like those ideas about like oral sex, stuff like that. Like because I feel like this this movie definitely brings out like the oral sex aspects of like what vampires are.
There's some level of sexuality to every vampire movie, so you know.
Also, for the listeners at home, there is a child in the audience. I apologize.
Yeah.
Me, I'm the child.
Oh God, what does my mom want to say? This will be the last audience
So,
thing.
to me,
God.
all this vampire stuff from the olden days, like take Anne Rice, who probably wrote about the best books and all that stuff. It was French and it was Creole. So why is this head vampire guy, who wasn't a bad-looking guy either, even though his skin was smoking, why is he doing an Irish jig like Lord of the Dance? He should have been doing can or something sexy, sexy and French. Oh, and by the way, you mentioned Johnny Got a Gun.
Johnny Got His Gun.
Yeah, that's where that's the movie
Right.
they use in the video for one.
Yeah,
Yep.
it is.
Yeah, okay, I didn't
And this
know.
is a puzzle piece. How?
I'm not sure.
Okay,
Hell yeah.
let's get into some closing thoughts here. Michael Keene, what do you got?
I thought the movie fucked pretty hard.
All right.
Yeah.
Anything else?
I don't really. I mean, as I said, the level of CGI greatness in this film. Well, actually, also we saw the cropped version of the film. There's an IMAX version. There's
The
like
IMAX.
5 or 6
Yeah,
or 17
there's
different
standard,
versions.
There's like standard 70 millimeter, and then there's 70 millimeter IMAX,
Which you can only
and
see in
there's-
like 8 cities in the entire country.
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
there's regular digital IMAX, and then there's theatrical DCP, which is what we saw. And
We're
then
in a
there's
weird
all
time for
these
movies.
different sound mixes for it too, like Dolby Atmos.
And what I'm just thinking is, oh, they had to do this for IMAX too. They had to do these insane fucking shots for IMAX. So I'm gonna go see that.
Yeah.
That's how much I liked it enough. I'm gonna probably see it again in theaters.
Nice. Amazing. Right on. Tyler, how about you? Any closing thoughts?
I thought this movie was great. It's an awesome film, and like I have a little more like I've just been thinking about this like too, like because I was saying this before, like how like the post credit scene that happened, like the first one, it didn't really feel like a post credit scene. Like structurally, it kind of felt like one thing kind of, and like it felt still a part of the story. It didn't really feel disconnected with the credits playing over it, and like it felt more like just a late opening credits scene, you know, like it felt kind of more like that. And like and like the way that the film like uses genre, it's, you know, it's like doesn't really even become like a horror movie until like halfway through. And I really love it when like horror movies can do that, when there's something really going on, you know, like The Shining does it. Like The Shining, that's like you can take away the horror aspects of that film and still you'll have a story that's still saying something. And like that's what I really love about this film, is how it takes its time like that, and it's you know, and it cares about like its characters, and it's like there's still something that you can take away from the film other than the horror part, or the horror aspects of it. And I thought it was great.
Absolutely. How about you, Michelle? Any closing thoughts?
Yes. So I'm really big on story. Big. If the movie is beautifully shot with all the great CGI and all of that, if the story fails, for me it's just a big pile of shit. Okay, that's what it is. But this one, for me, it had great story. It kept me engaged from beginning to end. I was able to follow the story. And then on top of that, the other layers of how beautifully executed it was as it relates to the CGI and the acting, the choreography for all of the scenes that were done. It was just beautifully done. So bravo, Ryan Coogler.
Yes.
Good job.
Absolutely.
Excellent.
Listener of the podcast, right?
Yeah,
Ryan
big
Coogler.
listener. I wanted to say also something that is really exciting. This movie is almost definitely going to be like a huge hit at this point. It's like doing great. We're watching this on the Saturday of the weekend that it's coming out. I read that it's it's kind of like closing in right now on being the biggest opening weekend for an original movie since before the pandemic.
Oh, wow. That's good.
Which that's wild.
Yay.
Like that's fantastic. So I hope that it gets that record, and I hope more original stories get this big of a stage, 5 IMAX versions or whatever the hell is happening. Give original stories to people, and that's what we want to see. And also one other point, I was just talking about this with the manager of this theater, Downtown Cinemas. Thank you for having us. Before the movie, but it was announced like earlier today, or it was like in an interview, that Ryan Coogler somehow managed to get a deal out of Warner Brothers where he's going to own this movie in 25 years from now, in 2050, which, I mean, that just never happened. So, I mean, that's like a freaking power play or something.
I know that's going to happen with Quentin Tarantino with Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Like he's gonna own that movie in like 20 years or so, something like that. But he also got like a really fucking sweet deal like that.
Yeah, that
awesome.
just never happens. That's amazing that an auteur could like make something like that happen. So,
if they don't kill him the way they killed Sam Cooke because he wanted to own all his music. Hello.
Okay, well, on that note, Michael Keene, where can people find you and your movies?
TheManateeParty.com. Search me on YouTube, The Manatee Party, manatee like the sea cow, but a party.
Yes.
And I'm on the Twitter app as at Michael Keene.
Very good.
Yeah, you can find it's easy enough. I'm the one that's not the faceless guitarist.
How about you, Tyler?
So you can find me on Instagram at tyler.moment, and then you can find me on Letterboxd at tyler_.moment. I couldn't use a period for Letterboxd.
They get you somehow.
And then my short film that premiered a couple years ago, Portrait of Michael Vogler, it's on Vimeo. And also on May 10th, I'm actually gonna shoot my next movie called Blue or Pink, and we're shooting it on 16 millimeter.
Nice.
And I do want to point. I love that about this movie, that they shot this on film, and yeah.
Absolutely. Right on. How about you, Michelle?
You can find Miss Michelle on Instagram at LVBFF. That's the acronyms for Las Vegas Black Film Festival, or visit the official site, LasVegasBlackFilmFestival.com, and all of my social media handles are there.
And where is the Black Film Festival?
I was just gonna say this will be up on Monday, so people will get a chance to hear this. So
absolutely. So the Las Vegas Black Film Festival again is celebrating its 12th year, and we boast a 5-star rating for all 12 years. Woo!
Beautiful.
Yeah, right. Clap your hands, huh?
Yeah.
And it's happening April 24th through the 27th at the beautiful Mediterranean-themed Suncoast Hotel, which is our home. We've been there for 12 years. And we celebrate inside of the Cinemark Theaters, which is also inside of the same property. We have 4 fabulous days of celebrating independent filmmakers, literally from all over the world. There is no other festival in the world that does it like we do it. We feed you all you can eat soul food brunch, bottomless mimosas. We have parties every night. We have workshops and seminars where you can come and literally get a distribution deal on the spot and be all over the world. We have acting competitions and so many other wonderful things that you can partake in. Our festival is not just for filmmakers. It is for film actors, film lovers, and of course for filmmakers. So if you don't have anything to do this week, there's plenty to do this weekend with us. 4 days, April 24th through the 27th here in Las Vegas.
Right on. I'm going on Thursday with my mom. I'm going to try to keep her,
Keep her together, David.
Ay.
Oh, opening night on the 24th. You guys are going to have an amazing time. We have, of course, movies that premiere all day long, but opening night, one of our a wonderful film that has been submitted is called Return of the Mac. It stars Dougie Fresh and Clifton Powell and a bunch of other wonderful actors. It is a great cast ensemble. That is going to be our opening night premiere movie, immediately followed by an upscale fashion show and a dope after party. So bring your dancing shoes and let's have a good time on April 24th. Help us kick it off right.
Awesome. Well, again, thank you to Downtown Cinemas for having us out. We'll be announcing a show for May. Probably next week we'll be announcing it, but it should be in the early part of May. And we'll also be back at Maya Cinemas next month as well. So keep an eye out at Piecing Pod for all of that information. And for everyone here at the theater, thank you so much for being here with us tonight.
Yay.
Hi, this is Wax Trax Records here on 2909 South Decatur. We buy all your old 45s, your old albums, any type of music memorabilia. Also, we sell music memorabilia, albums, CDs, and a lot. Come on down to Wax Trax, 2909 South Decatur, or give me a call at 702-362-4300. Thank you very much.
All right, so I hope you enjoyed that conversation about Sinners. Thank you to Downtown Cinemas for having us out. Thank you to Miss Michelle, Michael Keene, and Tyler Najera for joining me on that one. Thank you so much to everyone who showed up to the show. And thank you to you for listening. If you're enjoying Piecing It Together, make sure you're subscribed. You can also follow me on social media at Piecing Pod and join our Facebook group, Popcorn and Puzzle Pieces. And don't forget, we do have a Patreon, the Produced by David Rosen Patreon, where I post bonus and advanced content from Piecing It Together, Awesome Movie Year, and my music career. I actually, for all these live shows, I've been posting the unedited video version exclusively on the Patreon. This is always going to be just an audio-only show, but I do record video for clips, and without any editing, I just throw those videos up on the Patreon, and only the people who subscribe on there can get them. So if you like video, and you like what I do and want to support, you could always sign up over there at patreon.com/bydavidrosen. So with that said, it's time to close this out with a piece of music like I always do. And I'm going to play a track. This is unreleased, and I haven't decided yet. This might end up on my next David Rosen instrumental album. It was always intended for it, but I don't know. I've been thinking about cutting it and just making it like a bonus track at some point that I'll include. Eventually, I'm going to release a compilation of unreleased music, and this might end up getting booted to that album, only because, long story short, but I don't think I can actually open and edit the file anymore, and so it's kind of stuck, frozen in time as it is. And so, I like to be able to tinker right up until release, so that kind of bugs me, and I don't know if I'm going to want to put it on a main album because of that reason. But the song is called Vampire, so it feels like a good fit for Sinners. So this is Vampire, which might be on my next album, might not. We'll find out eventually. But I hope you enjoy it, and we'll be back with more Piecing It Together real soon.
an All Points West production, produced by David Rosen in Las Vegas.